Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions live on YouTube. Today I bring in seven-figure seller Jamie Graham. How you doing, Jamie?
Yeah, doing good. Pleased to be making my YouTube debut. Yeah, I've just become a father, so I think our daughter is 8 days old today. So yeah, learning lots about the wonderful world of parenthood. So special hello to all parents out there.
Congratulations, mate. So this is your first rodeo, I take it.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Done. I did my NCT, read a few books beforehand, and I'm glad I did because it meant I had some idea of what to expect. But yeah, I think it's one of those things. Yeah, I have to learn on the job, really. But yeah, it's fun. Fortunately, I've been able to take a bit of paternity leave from my business, so yeah, I'm able to stick around and be around and help out. Yeah, it's good fun, but
Cool.
it's crazy.
Sounds good. So, in and around being a new father, tell me a little bit about the business, what markets you're in, what categories, a bit of history around you as a seller.
Yeah, sure. So I used to work in sales. I wasn't a very good salesman. I was okay. So I went around a few different jobs. Then I quit that to work in property investment. So that's real estate. So I bought and sold a few properties, and I did something called HMOs, where you rent a house room by room. I was sort of okay at that. Still do a little bit of that kind of stuff, but not much. And then around about that time, Kaylee, who's my wife, who's then my girlfriend, was working on a kind of social media consultancy business. And we thought we would try out a business together. We thought it might work. So um, Amazon was just sort of, there were some Amazon courses out around that sort of time. So we did a course. We launched a couple of products that did quite well, but they weren't really in niches that we were sort of passionate about. So we then moved into beauty and we launched a product there. And then from there, we built a brand that we're really happy with and we're proud of and that we really enjoy working on. So that's what we focus on now.
Sounds
And we sell USA and Europe.
cool. And so let's break into the categories. I understand that you started out differently, but you've niched down into certain categories now. Is that right?
Yeah, so our first product was a weight loss supplement, and it was great for learning the ropes. And it also did help us to kind of multiply our initial investment. Because if you can get a supplement to work, it's great because you reorder from USA or UK or whatever, and you can turn over your inventory much quicker. So your ROI is great. Um, but over time, the competition came in. I think we might have been hit with some strategic one-star reviews. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't a category we were that passionate about because we're both skinny. So weight loss isn't really like our thing.
Yeah.
And then we tried like a beauty product and we created a brand for that. That product went really well, still one of our best sellers. And then we just started launching more products under that brand, and it was a lot more fun
Mm.
and a lot more profitable.
So,
Uh,
from my understanding, your wife is more like the creative vision behind it. She like in terms of the product selection and what the products are about. But whereas you're running ops, and so you complement each other as a team.
yeah, exactly. So she understands the target market. She can make decisions based on the products and the packaging and the listings. And she also got a good marketing and social media background, which is really useful. And she kind of is our target market for that product line, which is fantastic. And then yeah, I just followed the instructions from stuff I learned off courses and podcasts and other stuff. So I just
Yeah.
follow smart people. So that's what I've done. I'm not the world's best implementer, but fortunately, we came into a business where um, Amazon's doing a lot of the hard work for you, so you don't
Yeah.
need to be massively smart
Hmm.
to make it work. Um,
Well, the thing is, you don't have to be the world best at something. You just need to turn up. A lot of the time is, there's a bit of luck and there's graft involved and there's the 80-20 rule and there's few things to apply, but you
yeah,
don't
I
have
think
to
it took
be.
us 6 months to launch our first product, right?
Yeah.
And it would have been so easy to give up, right? We were trying to sell like a peppermint oil, and we
Hmm.
kept on being messed around with like hazmat and all this kind of stuff, and we got months and months into it,
Yeah.
and then we just had to walk away from it because we just couldn't get permission to sell it. And it would have been so easy to give up then.
Yeah.
And also say with our first product, when it stopped selling, we moved down to page 3 or 4, we're down to 3.5 stars, selling one a week. We launched a second product that was similar, and that sold about one a month. It would have
Mhm.
been really easy to give up, but we just kept going, found a product that worked, found a brand that worked, found ways of working together, found good stuff, and then it just it just gets a lot easier for you after that.
Yeah, cool. So as a seven-figure seller now, do you have some tips that you can share with the audience? What you should?
Yeah, sure. I know your audience loves value. So what I want to talk about is whatever hire you're considering, I would invite you to consider making that hire earlier, or at least start the hiring process earlier. So even if it's like your first VA and you feel like you don't have enough to give them, don't worry, it's not going to be a problem in the long term, I can assure you. Or recently we hired someone as a sort of senior role to be like in a management team with me and Kaylee to be a kind of operations and marketing manager. Because we had the baby coming up, we knew we needed someone to do a lot of the stuff that we were doing and a lot of the stuff that we should be doing but weren't actually doing. And yeah, in hindsight, if we'd hired her 6 months earlier, that would have been a lot better. So
hire early, hire fast, but also the flip side of that is to fire fast as well. As horrible as it is, it doesn't benefit the person who's in that position, because everyone knows that if the person's not doing well at their job and they're not maybe getting the support, or they're not qualified to do the job, and the company owner's not happy, it means no one's happy. So as quick as you hire, you should fire at the same speed as well, just because after a couple of months and everyone's settled into, that person moves to their new job, they'll look back on the situation, rather than it being a slow hand clap. You're better off getting that result sooner rather than later. So you've been quite lucky with your hires though, haven't you?
Yeah, but we've had loads of terrible hires as well. So okay. I'm lucky with the team. Team that I've got at the moment. But yeah. I remember we wanted to hire someone to help with sourcing, and at the time we got it in our head. We're like, we've got to get someone that speaks Mandarin.
Yeah.
So we was going and she spoke fluent Mandarin, and she had great experience. But when I saw her typing with 2 fingers on a computer, I wanted to just get rid of her straight away, because I realized at that stage that she wasn't going to be able to work fast enough.
Yep.
To do it. But we ended up giving her another couple of weeks, but it just didn't work out. And then there was another time, someone had posted up on a Facebook group, oh, my VA needs a new job, I'm just restructuring. And so I interviewed this guy, turned out he was good. But then what had happened is this VA had actually accepted jobs from 5 different people. So it was this massive thing. So that was a bit of a waste of time and money.
I mean, one of the VAs I had, I use a software tracking program, and I had a young lad who came on, nice guy, he's from the Philippines. Most of the time he spent in church, so he's a man of God, and he used to do work for me after his church duties and stuff. But the thing is, it was like, I'm paying this guy 40 hours a week, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm looking at it and I'm running through the tasks and I'm going, okay, that takes X amount of time to do. If it only takes that amount of time, let's double it and double it again. But he's getting nowhere near any of this work, right? And so what I decided to do, I put him on the tracker. I said, can you sign up for this software? He said, what do you mean you don't trust me? I said, it's not that I don't trust you. This system, you work, you go onto the software, it shows keystrokes and stuff on the screen. It gives you the speed of which you're working at. And then what happens, it gives you your total time at the end, and then I can pay you accordingly. He lasted 3 hours and 21 minutes. I never heard it from him ever again. So I was paying someone a 40-hour week.
With good staff, you're constantly thinking, wow, you've done that already. Or like, oh, you've moved, you're looking at their list and like, oh, you've done that already. Yeah. And then with people that are not so good, it's like, oh, you've still not done that yet. You kind of, because you've done these jobs before, you get a sense in your head for like how long they should take.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you're impressed with someone's progress, then you kind of know they're a keeper.
Yeah, and you just leave them get on with it, and you ask them. You say, "What do you need from me?"
I mean, obviously, it's a given that you've really got to take time when people start to sit down with them, let go of everything else you've got to do, make sure people properly understand what they need.
Trained well, yeah.
Make sure you have proper SOPs, right? Because the responsibility is yours as the employer. Like that's obviously a given. But after that, just some people are suited to the role, some people aren't. Yeah,
it's about ownership, isn't it? You've got to take full ownership of that position for your member of staff and give them as much as possible to give them the best chance. So tip number 2.
So tip number 2 is a book called Traction by Gino Wickman. He teaches something called the EOS, Entrepreneur's Operating System. and it just helps. It's really helped us to get our business really organized. So from softer things that are really helpful, like having values written, our marketing, our core focus, that kind of stuff, getting stuff like that written down on paper, and then finding a way to actually action it, to like having goals and all the stuff that, like, if you read any personal development and business stuff, you're supposed to do, but I imagine about 80% of us haven't actually got around to doing, and putting it in one person's system who's thought of everything. So even if you don't go with this guy and you choose to do something else, like you choose to do Work the System or eMyth or whatever else, I think picking one system and just sticking rigidly to it is way easier than cherry picking like from 10 different systems. Yeah. So I found that's been super helpful. So I'd really recommend that book. Or failing that, to just pick one guy and follow their system.
Cool. And tip number 3
is mastermind groups. So having like a group of 5 or 6 people that you share a lot of stuff with, and maybe have like a regular call. So after about 6 months, we had weekly calls with a group of sort of UK sellers. It was really, really helpful. So got to have really amazing conversations. It just so happened that they're all more successful than my business. Really, really great people, great business minds. And we just had some really powerful conversations, and getting to become friends with these guys has just been really great. It's really helped to transform our business. It's been great.
Cool. Any more to
add? Yeah, just like if you're not sure how to start a mastermind group, just think about the kind of people that you would like to have on, and just reach out, let them know the other people that you're thinking of approaching. Because even if your business isn't that successful and you think you don't have that much to offer, one, you probably do and don't realize it, and two, everyone else will get value from the other people as well. So it's a great way to build relationships with business people that you look up to, good Amazon sellers in your area, people that you'd like to benefit from getting to know better.
Sounds good. And so you bought a ticket for Seller Sessions Live. I'd like to know from you what drew you to Seller Session Live. What do you want to get out of it?
Well, because I trust you, and I trust the Seller Sessions brand as something that's going to provide good content, right? And I know the speakers. I hear them on the podcast. I see them in other places. Paul Harvey I've known for a while anyway. So I trust that it's going to be good content. It's not going to be a waste of my time. And basically being in it, so I think the content will be cutting edge. And by physically being there, I'll have no distractions. I'm going to get a desk. We're getting desks, right, Danny?
That's right.
I'm going to have a desk.
Workspace, yeah. Well, I mean, you'd all be sitting down, like it's tiered seating. It's like an amphitheater. But when you sit down, you'd be sitting next to other people, but you've got like a long desk in front of you, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of time at events, I'm the only one on my laptop, and I'm thinking, you guys aren't going to remember all this stuff. Yeah. And it's like, even if it's being videoed, you're not going to watch that replay. I know you're not.
Not 9 hours of content.
So yeah, and also like I get a little bit behind on Amazon stuff, because I've got so much else to do to run my business that I get a little bit behind on Amazon, and the stuff that I do see, I don't really have that time to implement. So actually sitting down with it, I'm really having time to take it in. Plus, I thought you were going to sell the tickets too cheap, and it looks like you are selling the tickets too cheap. So I thought they were pretty good value.
Well, the thing is, it's different. I mean, I explained to everyone, it's like my vision for it was, I looked around at the landscape, and it's about value for money. Like when you go to the US, there's a lot of high rollers, right? And people will pay $1,000 for a ticket for that lineup. No one in the UK, unless I try and do these free secret hacks and we're going to do all this black hat shit, I'm never going to be able to sell tickets for £1,000 for the event, unless I promise something that I'm going to make someone a millionaire overnight and all that bollocks, right? That's never going to happen. And then when I looked around, I'm like, people are getting one person to come over from the US to maybe speak. We've got 6. So my goal is like, for me, this isn't about making money, right? This is about putting on an event, like a big lineup with high quality people, so that we can have the precedent set here in the UK of people being able to go to an event and get proper education. Because we look to the US and they're spoiled. Every month there's events going on. There's a wealth of speakers and stuff. But you come to the UK and the events are not like Amazon focused events, right? You know, you might go and pay £300 just to see one person. pay to go to an event. With ours, you've got 6 international speakers, you've got a panel and everything else. I want that precedent set so that sends a message for anyone who's putting on events in the UK related to Amazon. 1, the content's got to be good. 2, you've got to provide value for money. And that's what we're trying to do with it. And that's hopefully what we will succeed with in, 4 weeks' time.
Yeah, and I think the kind of people going, because it's not like a free meetup or whatever, people are paying something.
Yeah.
I think they're the kind of people that I'd like to get to know and would like to talk to and hang out with. So I actually know a lot more American sellers than I do UK sellers. So it'll be good to see the UK sellers I do know. And I'd like to hang out and meet some more kind of, maybe I'll meet some other sellers from Brighton and Hove. So I think that would be really cool. I think that it will attract some serious people that want to learn some serious stuff, and they're like serious business owners.
Cool. Sounds good. Right, guys, going to leave it there. If you want to grab a ticket for Seller Sessions Live, go to sellersessions.com/live. The super early birds and the early birds are sold out. We've still got some general mission left, and there's a secret discount giving you 20% off. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.